Have no ideas. They have no leaders. But Laura, I'm going to give you some breaking news. One of the Democrats that you just had on your program was in a confidential briefing in the SCIF today and said to General Kane, the operation that you ran will go down in the annals of American history as the greatest.
That's right, Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno, letting us know that the operation that totally obliterated everything in Iran, obliteration, is going to go deep, deep into the annals of history. Deep into the annals of history.
General Kane, the operation that you ran will go down in the annals of American history as the greatest military operation ever.
You would have to get a colonoscopy to find how deep it's going down in the history books, baby. Now, I looked it up, and actually that phrase is a phrase. Have you ever used that? The annals of history? I sure haven't, but it is actually a phrase, so I know, but it's very strange. So on that note, welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the morning show. So much to discuss. We are starting, I know it's sort of like really obliterate again. We're just going to start there. Honestly, because it makes for a good title. But then we're going to get to even more fun stuff. So stick around for that. But let me remind you where this all started, because we already covered this. This isn't breaking news, but the fallout is. And seeing kind of how did Fox News respond? How did these reporters that the Trump administration have been attacking in the wake of them just reporting on a preliminary assessment that said maybe obliteration's the wrong word for what happened to the Iranian nuclear program, and maybe it was just set back a few months. And this clip went very viral of Hegseth getting upset at a Fox News reporter.
It's about highly enriched uranium. Do you have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance? Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect, but Jennifer, you've been about the worst, the one who misrepresents the most intentionally. What the president says. I'm familiar.
Report about the ventilation shafts on Saturday night, and in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging.
Now, I rarely defend Fox News reporters, but watch your tone, Pete. Watch your tone with Jennifer, okay? Do not speak to Jennifer like that. Now, you had even Tucker Carlson going, Jennifer Griffin. Now, just so you know, Griffin's a Fox News reporter, but she also is credited for being one of the last remaining credible reporters at Fox News. She actually does do normal reporting, meaning it's not coming from partisan stance. She just tries to report on stuff more objectively, and she does it pretty well from what I can tell, even given where she works. But anytime the Trump administration takes issue with a particular reporter, no matter how good her credibility or reputation is, every single influencer has to jump on the bandwagon of saying she's a liberal.
Jen Griffin is a liar, but also very liberal. Wow, true Trump hater. To the point where I complained about her, and I really tried not to complain about other people at Fox when I worked there, because, like, I don't like that, you know. Yeah.
Jennifer is so mean. She hurt my feelings. He looks like such a pouty boy in that pose. That's so funny. I complained about her. I said, Mr. Murdoch, can you fire her? She's so mean. She hates Trump like I do. But wait, I don't admit it.
Was politics stuff, but she was discrediting the channel. She was such a Trump hater. And it was like emotional, like her internal memos, you know, from the Pentagon, sources are telling us. Were like screeds. It was like, oh, I'll just read Political Playbook if that's what, you know, or whatever. I'll read Mother Jones. And I said to an executive at Fox, like, what are we doing with this Jennifer Griffin person? She's an idiot. She doesn't tell the truth. She misleads our viewers. And she's like a screaming liberal who hates Trump.
Oh my gosh, she's Jennifer Griffin. If you know anything about her, it's just so ridiculous.
Radicalized.
He's radicalized against Jennifer Griffin. I love how he's like, she's just so emotional and she's an idiot. And then hearing that soundbite reminded me, that's coming from the guy who, number one, bitched about the attractiveness of M&Ms and how they were trying to make M&Ms less hot, and it was pissing him off. He wanted to be turned on by M&M animations. And number 2, went to Russia and did a economically illiterate puff piece on grocery stores. So is he the guy to speak to the credibility or the accuracy or the emotionality of someone? I don't think so.
Radicalized.
But you did have another Fox reporter, Britt Hume, or an analyst, a contributor, I should say, defend Griffin. Oh, look at that. Nothing like a good clip glitch in the morning.
I'd like to say a word, if I may, Dana, about Jennifer Griffin, who was attacked by the defense secretary today, an attack she certainly, in my view, did not deserve. Her professionalism, her knowledge, and her experience at the Pentagon is unmatched. And I have had and still have the greatest regard for her. The attack on her was unfair.
One thing I was going to mention about that, Bill, Britt, is that the DIA is kind of like on the first level of intel. It gets higher up as you go.
Okay, so they're all so scared. Why are you so scared, Dana? Is this Dana or Ainsley? I don't know. Some of them just give similar vibes, to be honest. Ainsley or Dana or Laura. Is that Laura Ingram? Is that Laura Ingram? No, that's Dana Perino. Yeah, so she just jumps right into that wasn't a super... This is interesting. My text is dictating what I'm saying right now. Bizarre. And that wasn't really like good intelligence. We're going to wait. The good intelligence is what Trump feels. That's where we can really know what's true and what's not. Ron Filipkowski said, singling out reporters and attacking them by name is really working out well for the Trump administration today. And he's being a little bit sarcastic when he's saying that. But Griffin reported the Pentagon does not want to answer this key question. Clearly, where is the 440 kilograms of near weapons grade highly enriched uranium, and could it have been moved? So I asked some nuclear experts, and they said, in short, it is the gas that can be put in cylinders, and it was likely moved. So, oof, and then Natasha Bertrand, who's been the subject of a lot of hate from the Trump administration, also keeps on reporting. So it's not working. The threats aren't working, at least as of now. Saying new CNN reporting, the Trump administration has discussed possibly helping Iran access as much as $30 billion to build a civilian energy producing nuclear program, easing sanctions and freeing up billions of dollars in restricted Iranian funds, all part of an intensifying attempt to bring Tehran back to the negotiating table. This is so ridiculous. We covered yesterday Witkoff talking about the easing of sanctions or the allowing of oil being sold from Iran to China, and how it's because we want Iran to prosper and we want China to prosper, right after saying they wanted both those things to not happen. And then here it looks like they're setting up, which I kind of predicted a little bit, that either Trump was going to go all out war, or he was going to go, wait, I can't do all out war. That's against every one of my campaign promises. So we're going to do these strikes. But then ultimately he's going to scream himself into just trying to craft the same deal that he got out of in his first term. Oh, so he said that Obama gave the Iranian regime billions of dollars, and then they used that to fund terror, to do all the terrible things the Iranian regime does. But then the thing that was worthwhile in exchanging the releasing of sanctions for the nuclear, not developing a nuclear program. That's what the Obama deal did, the JCPOA, and that's what Trump got out of. And now it looks like he's proposing, listen, wait, Iran, hold up, come back. We did the wrong stuff, but come back. I got out of the deal and I bombed, but come back, please. And we can maybe do the deal again. But if I get cranky, I might get out of it and bomb you again. But what do you think? It just doesn't seem to be the most coherent strategy here. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. If you become a member, someone's asking a question about that, actually, sitting in a super chat. Sweet Cheeks 921, wow, said, how do I become a member? I don't see a button. All right, so if you, a couple options. It should be next to the subscribe button, a button that says join. Some people don't have that. Try a different, like if you're on your phone, maybe try to go on a computer or vice versa. But we also, don't we put the link in the description of the video you're watching right now, where you can click on it, it says become a member, and it'll take you directly to the member page. It's all within YouTube, but that could help. Most of you should have a join button. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. I don't know why. It's not our fault. Blame YouTube. And I did everything right, and they took my join button away. But most of you will see that, and you just click join. You remember, I'll thank you if that happens while we're still live. Dark Match sent in a super chat saying the implications of SCOTUS giving Trump time to enact an end to birthright citizenship means their plan to strip tens of millions of citizenship may go forward. Generational examinations and erasing the 1986 amnesty. Yeah, we are in a dystopian time. We'll be talking about that each step of the way. All right, last thing on, is this last thing? Second to last thing on Oblitergate, and then we're going to get to much more fun things. Chris Murphy came out of a classified briefing or an intelligence briefing and said, listen, I can't speak to exactly what I heard, but my belief stays the same about Trump lying.
I'm not going to talk about anything from the briefing. I mean, I walk away from that briefing still under the belief that we have not obliterated the program. The president was deliberately misleading the public when he said the program was obliterated. It is certain that there is still significant capability and significant equipment that remain.
Yeah. But do you think were you the Democrat that said it was going to go down in the annals of history? Chris? Was that you? Are you being two-faced? Did you say anything about annals in that meeting? Tell me, what did you know and when did you know it about annals of history? Then you have a veteran on CNN saying, hey, this whole conflation of questioning the administration means, they want you to believe that means that you hate the troops or something, is ridiculous.
What's your reaction to that? I have to say, I don't recall a defense secretary ever conducting a press conference like that. What do you think?
Yeah, that's America's Secretary of Defense. To use a military term, it's conduct unbecoming. He looks rattled. He obviously looks thin-skinned. He's extremely aggressive and volatile, and he's attacking the press. We need him to attack our enemies. I wish he attacked Vladimir Putin as aggressively as he attacked CNN and others. And I think what he's doing is continue to conflate the war with the warriors. It's something we worked hard as a nation across partisan lines to separate after Vietnam, to separate the politics from the people. And they have melded the two together. And you're right, they are using the military as a shield. Because the press is asking hard questions of our president doesn't mean any.
Yes, exactly. Amazing. That was such an interesting bar to drop when he said, I wish that Hegseth attacked Putin like he attacked the reporters. Because, and that really, that really made me upset. Think about that. Really think about, as Putin is spitting in Trump's face and going, I'm going to tell you that I want peace, and then I'm going to worsen the war even more. I'm going to humiliate you. I'm going to humiliate you like you're my little, you know what? And the response is, well, we are not happy with the actions of both sides in that conflict, and we are hoping that maybe we will eventually convince Putin that maybe he wants peace. And then Griffin goes, hey, there's a report that, could you give us clarification on what the enriched uranium thing is? You sick reporter, you hate America. What? Why don't you ever talk like that against Putin? Or Xi? China! Right. Okay. I just want to give a little help to the MAGAs out there, or some Democrats who are upset. If you seek to take down Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani, if you seek to discredit him, posting this clip over and over, which I see right-wing accounts keep doing this. It's kind of like when AOC won, and they're like, can you believe she was a bartender? Or they post that video of her dancing in college, and it was just like a cute, fun video. I promise, do the socialism thing. That will work better. Don't do the, he did songs in his past. Look at this. See, even back then, he was speaking about grocery prices. Look at this. Look at this. These cucumbers. Are those cucumbers? These cucumbers. They're too expensive. He was saying it back then. I mean, I can't really... Is there something being said here? Because I'm just bumping. Am I missing a lyric that they're upset about? I'm bumping. Yeah, unless I'm missing a lyric, that's fun. That's fun. Let's see. These people are complete and utter. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. And then you have Hope Waltz, who is the daughter of Tim Waltz. And Hope Waltz made a point on social media, and then Laura Ingraham was like, "Meh, sweetie, maybe don't speak about politics, sweetie. Us smart people need to figure this out." But the point that Hope makes is perfect. Because I just want to keep saying, I've heard certain things that Zoran said that I disagree with plenty. And I don't like, given that in the broader context of global politics, it doesn't even apply whenever people who are just kind of like progressive label themselves as democratic socialists. I get why they do it because it's distinguished, but that does make people think of socialism, right? As opposed to just some social reforms that are within a capitalistic system, and we're not going to go full socialism, right? And everyone knows that who has a head tightened on, but it's easier for them to fearmonger whenever you actually define yourself as that. And then again, some particular policy I disagree with. I just don't think they're pragmatic. But plenty of the things he's laid out are just so uncontroversially popular and good. And in terms of his policies that he's pushing forward for New York. And I think that was the point from Hope Waltz here.
I know it might surprise some people, but feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, having accessible and functional public transportation, among many other things, are popular policies everywhere. They're popular everywhere.
You just lost about 100,000 brain cells by watching that soundbite. Sweetie, if they were popular everywhere, Trump would not be president.
Oh.
What the hell was that?
Laura, you are so irritating. You just lost 100. What's her? How do I do her? Let's see. Like, how do I do her accent? Not accent, an impression of her. Honey. Let's see. Honey, I just lost 100,000 brain cells listening to that. No, I can't do it. What? Laura, there are so many clips of people saying funky things that you could. Also, before I get to addressing it, they say we put them down. They say that we kind of speak like we're high and mighty. Liberals, they talk down to us. That's why we had to vote for Trump. I just feel like they're so pretentious and they're like always thinking that they know more. She just said someone pointing to the fact that what were the things? Feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, accessible and functional public transportation are popular policies everywhere. That caused you to lose 100,000 brain cells, and that if those things were true, then Trump wouldn't have won. Well, then you are the one making us lose brain cells, Laura. If you don't know that two things can be true, individual policies can poll very well, and candidates who don't advocate for those policies can still win. Because networks like yours go trans, migrants, trans migrant, who's a drag queen also. And so then people don't focus on the fact that indeed Trump won despite not supporting very popular things. Which let's watch this again. Feeding kids. Okay, you tell me, Laura, Mrs. I'm so smart. You tell me, which one of these policies is unpopular to one American?
I know it might surprise some people, but feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, having accessible and functional public transportation, among many other things, are popular policies everywhere. They're popular everywhere.
You just lost about 100,000 brain cells by watching that soundbite. Sweetie, if they were popular everywhere...
Don't call her sweetie. Don't call her sweetie. So, what's the word when you put something down? It's demeaning, right? Or what? There's another word. It's
patronizing.
Patronizing. Yes. What's another one? Let's keep throwing them out. It's there's still the one. There's the one that I want and I can't get it. It's okay. I'll think of it.
If they were popular everywhere, Trump would not be president. Nevertheless,
You don't know anything. You don't know anything about politics. That's not how politics works. For a very long time, universal health care has polled a majority. Minimum wage increases polled a majority. Paid family leave, child care, universal child care. And still those things don't get passed because of our system. And people voting, they want those things in a vacuum, but then they vote for politicians because they're scared of the drag queens. Or there's a real problem like Biden doing good things over here on a lot of domestic policy got overshadowed by the fact that he was seen as failing on immigration, right? However much you agree or disagree with such an argument. But no, Hope Waltz is exactly right. So the sweetie that you're talking to knows a hell of a lot more than you apparently, because those are all very popular policies. But huge propaganda outlets convince you to worry about things that aren't those issues. Captain Chaos has been a member for 2 months. Says, is it true that the DOJ is suing MD federal judges? I don't know. Well, I'll check in on that. Scott Adams became a member. Thank you so much. I saw some condescending. Thank you. That's so funny. Jane sent me a screenshot. Just like 12 people. Condescending. Thank you. I could not think of condescending. Captain Chaos in his super chat. Condescending. Okay, we got it. Thank you. Everyone's in the super chat saying what you think it was. I saw somebody. Oh, is it an? It wasn't annals, is it? Annals? Annals of history? Just, can y'all not? Sometimes the people write in, I can't believe you didn't. Shut up. Quit it. You think Liver King knows that phrase? No. Primals. All right, next story. Liver King, who is an influencer who advocates a primal lifestyle, except for staying in nice hotels, which he does, and flying in private planes that he does, and using steroids like he does. I don't know a lot about much, apparently. Annals, whatever. But I also don't know much about the cavemen. I don't think they had steroids, though. I think I know that. But he uses those. Or he did, at least. And since he got exposed for that after promising he didn't, he's kind of been spiraling. And he challenged Rogan to fight. Rogan didn't respond, but then Liver King flew to Austin and was like, I'm going to fight. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to choke me out, Rogan. And then got arrested for terroristic threats. And so now he is restrained from going close to Rogan and is still posting videos talking about it. And he looks dilapidated.
Good morning, primals. From the vibration plate of the greatest state in the world, Austin, Texas.
I said in our last stream that I'll interview him. I'll do it. I don't know if you can handle this primal, Liver King, but if you have the guts, if you got the balls, you can accept our request. We did reach out to his team and ask. So I know you wanted Rogan, but Rogan's not responding. I'm responding though. And I won't fight you, but I'll fight with my mouth. With my words.
Texas is the state, just to be clear. Bags under my eyes, haven't slept a whole lot. And it's been an amazing gift. When you fracture the physical, don't sleep, don't eat much, drink much. you go deeper into something else. You gotta maybe.
I experience the opposite. When I sleep a lot, I go deeper into something else, into the annals of my mind.
Express something else. Something else. Ask me what the password is to Wi-Fi. I can't wait to share it. So, good morning, primals. What I'm doing, do it with me. Get the early morning sun through the eyes on the face on the skin. Get the bare feet connected, anchored, grounded.
It doesn't look that early, actually. Dude, the sun's like all the way up. That's not how it looks in the morning. I'm here in Austin too, bro. This is not early morning. Get up early, 10 a.m. What, you're just going to let me talk to you like that, Liver King? Look at me. Look at me. I'm a twerp. I'm a loser. And you won't even sit down for a conversation? Our viewership audience, our daily audience is much bigger than yours now. I'm giving you access to an audience. You can speak to them. Now, every single thing you're going to say about how eat only raw testicles, primals, I will have to dispute, but we can have fun. It'll be fun. I might give you a little bit of beard advice from one beard grower to another. You see, I'm getting all scruffy. But I think it would be fun, and you can't let someone who like me, like, look at me. Look at me. Look at you, look at me. Full screen me. Full screen him. Look at you. Now look at me. Now look at you. Now look at me. You can't handle this? Just for a combo? Yeah, look at you. Primals. Look at you. You're such a primal. I'm not. What do they call them? A metrosexual? Wait, I guess I'm a metro homos. I don't know. Whatever. It's like y'all, the producers don't know. It's let me look up the definition. It's like a soft man. Metrosexual meaning. Metrosexual is a term for a man who is especially meticulous. It's often used about his personal style, grooming, and appearance. Or to heterosexual men who are perceived to be effeminate rather than strictly adhering to stereotypical masculinity. Well, I mean, I do exude masculinity, so that's, maybe I'm not that, but so you're just gonna let me talk to you like that, Liver King? Shoot. You want to fight Rogan, who looks like some sort of, he looks tough, and you won't even talk to me? Weird. I'm just trying to do it to him what he was doing to Rogan. So we're just gonna keep posting videos back and forth. You're posting, I'm posting, I'm posting about you, but you're posting also maybe about me, probably not. And let's handle this like men, man to man, primal to. What do you call me? What's a non-prime? Subprime. He calls subprimal. Primal to subprimal. Be my alpha, won't you?
You're my daddy.
Sweet Cheeks became a member. I think I said that already, but found the button somewhere. Thank you. And said, I don't know why it didn't take me to the text box with the super chat. I want you to play the Elon legalized comedy sound.
Legalize comedy.
Exactly.
Legalize comedy.
Exactly.
Legalize comedy.
Exactly.
Legalize comedy.
Yes. Gavin the Chaos says, annals is the wrong word, but it's going to be a hilarious clip. It's spelled annals, pronounced annals. Annals. I know, I was doing a bit. I don't know why they're laughing. I know. Like, now, I know that also. I was saying if you, but good job. You passed my test.
Not cognitively.
But he said annals. Yeah, the annals of history. I've heard that. But I heard annals. I didn't even think of annals. He said it. It was Bernie Moreno. That wasn't even me. Now you're getting mad at me. This is the, what was her? The Karen Reed situation all over again. Over annals. Alfani Okay, this is serious. SCOTUS rulings today. Nationwide injunctions, birthright for Trump. No nationwide injunctions. Age verification for porn. Texas wins. Oh, wait. Let me read this a little bit better. So nationwide injunctions for birthright equals for Trump. No nationwide injunctions. Age verification for porn equals Texas wins. Verification stands. Opt out for LGBTQ plus in schools allowed. This next thing is weird. Necroposting. Tweet from dead House Democrat deleted after loud bipartisan backlash. Jerry Connolly passed away in May, but that didn't stop him from tweeting an endorsement for his chosen successor. So sad and love to Jerry Connolly. And this story is Bunkersville. His staff was posting endorsement, even though many people found it to be ghoulish and in poor taste. So 2 weeks before he died, Connolly tweeted an endorsement for his chief of staff. Okay, before he died, that's good. After Connolly's death, his social media profiles were updated to note that he had passed, and now posts were being made with the consent of the Connolly family. First tweet at some point afternoon, the tweet was since deleted, saying, make sure to go vote for his chief of staff. Let's honor that legacy. No, you can't do that. You gotta shut it down when they die. That's like imagine if your relative died and then you just got their phone and you were like, don't forget to come by my shop today. We have a sale. Uncle would have wanted you to, like, from their number. Very weird. All right, the economy. Let's talk about it.
First quarter GDP, however, the final read is negative 0.5%. We were expecting a loss of 0.2% for first quarter GDP. This is the first negative read that we've actually clocked since the first quarter of 2022. That's according to the Commerce Department. But again, that GDP.
The annals of history. Bernie Moreno, I was mocking him, everybody. Sit down for a second. Thank you.
Read. This is actually even more of a loss in the range.
Captain Chaos said, no, not mad at you. No, I know, I'm kidding. Hilarious clip because a member of Congress said it on national TV. You should keep up the anal jokes. If there's one thing I know, I'm keeping up those jokes. Don't worry. Okay. Whilst we got that final number on negative 0.5% GDP in the first quarter after a bunch of quarters of growth, we also saw this personal income month over month change. And for the first time in quite a while, we saw a decrease in personal income. But let me just warn you about something. I am becoming increasingly confident that Trump's going to back off of, as he already kind of has, much of his tariff policy. So underlying that, there was a strong economy that he inherited. And just get ready, because what's going to happen is he's going to back off or do these deals, and we'll see some pushing up of prices. But because he was too undedicated to his own plan, he's not going to wreck the economy if he doesn't implement his own plan in the way that we outlined, because what we outlined was him implementing his full plan, right? And what's going to happen is MAGA is going to compare our analysis of what would happen to the economy if he did the full Liberation Day tariffs with where the economy stands and proclaim that to be a victory. A really good example is the stock market. If I can pull this up, this is S&P 500. It's breaking or about to get back to record-breaking levels, right? So what is MAGA saying? Oh, Daddy Trump. Oh, yes. He's going to go down in the annals of history. And they're going, see, record-breaking. The liberals, they are so dumb. They said that it... But look at this visualization. We would have been where we are now within just a little eeky-weeky time before his Retribution Day stuff if it weren't for the Retribution. So this isn't an accomplishment. He delayed the growth of the stock market by months to where now we're finally getting to where we were about to be way back when he implemented these tariffs in the first place. And you could see it, the huge dip. Otherwise, the trend would have continued. We would have been where we are at the end of the graph, right back there in late February, March. And so they have this brilliant technique, and by brilliant, I mean absolutely bat crazy, where they create these problems, they recover from them because they back off of the thing that caused the problem to be created, or they partially back off of it. And then they take credit for the fact that we got back to where we kind of were before they did all the troublesome things. It's so bizarre. Who knows where we would be with the stock market if Trump hadn't done all those things? So while we see some of these bad metrics, it seems Trump is already losing interest in really leaning into his whole economic agenda with tariffs. And so they're gonna then take credit for the fact that the economy didn't have the worst outcome that could have happened if they had implemented all those tariffs. And the more modest tariffs that maybe they'll leave in place will still have negative effects, but that outcome will be compared to the full outcome with no intellectual honesty coming from them. Jared Frank's asking me to Google. Just, can everyone chill? He's asking me to Google that word. I don't even want to say it. Okay, fine, I will. Okay, fine, I will.
Annals.
Annals. What? What was I saying? Annals. Annals. Okay, go away. Stay here though. But go, stop. Annals. Annals of history. No, I literally have never used that phrase. Never. I was lying. I had never heard that. What are we doing? Just say it'll go down in history. What do we need annals? Annals for? I don't need anal for history. Wow, this one, speaking of history, I think this morning show's for the history books. We're going to have to mark this one. We have a live show. Make sure you're there. Yes. And that's linked in the description. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the fun that we can have in such a moment. A podcaster, confronted his MAGA dad with the fact that Trump is going to weaponize natural disaster relief and withhold it from people who need it whenever he doesn't like states like California. And the dad, you might be able to expect, said, I don't care.
Do you think those Trump voters in California are going to be okay when Trump says, we're not giving you federal aid and your house just burned down?
I don't think it matters.
Why not?
Because we're going to win anyway.
Win what? The fire? What are you talking about?
Next election. That's what this is all about.
No. I'm asking about specifically the federal aid Trump is denying California.
Yeah, he's not going to give them any federal aid. It's going to piss off the Democrats who lost their houses, and nobody gives a shit because in 4 years they won't matter anyway.
No, I'm talking about...
They won't matter anyway.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Republicans who are going to lose their houses that voted for Trump.
Won't matter.
You don't care about them.
There are enough people who lost their houses in Los Angeles.
How can you say your state
that are gonna swing the vote for the whole state?
Chad, California.
I'm not talking about if it swings the vote or not. I'm talking about
asking if you care, if you give a shit that other my job.
No, I don't give a rat's ass shit about anybody that lives in California. including you.
Do you?
Was this his dad? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That's so terrible. Bubba, your dad says that, including you. Ugh. Sir, your priorities are whacked. I don't care about anyone, including my family. Whoa. So just to confirm, because of where someone was born or moved to, maybe for a job they needed to feed their family, you don't care if little children are able to have their house rebuilt after a hurricane. No? Because you don't like California that much. I bet a lot of money that guy claims he's a Christian. That's insane. That is insane. All right, Lara. Now someone's going to say, oh, look up the pronunciation of Laura. Annals. Annals. Thank you so much to Chris Tinfoil Hat, who's been a member for a month. So Laura Loomer, she is suing Bill Maher for joking about her having a relationship with Donald Trump. And she talked about that during an Alex Jones hit.
I mean, you know, there's the big thing. Oh, Laura Loomer and Trump are having sex. All that ridiculous garbage. They're so upset that he loves to talk to you, has you in the White House. Listen to you. Why don't you talk about what your real relationship with President Trump is?
Well, I'm actually suing Bill Maher right now for falsely accusing me of having sex with President Trump. They do that to smear women when women are making a difference. And look, I'm not a feminist. I'm not one of these people that's going to, pretend to be, attacked in life only because I'm a woman. But what Bill Maher did was very misogynistic. He knows that I'm not.
I love that. So what you're watching there, the strain, is that we are perfectly fine if you go, oh, I think that attack was because of my identity. Which, hey, everybody, I said that. I really don't like Laura Loomer. But I said that when people were going, oh, they're having sex. I was like, ooh, something reeks kind of misogynistic about anytime a woman's hanging out with a powerful man, you're like, she must be him. So I even said that, but we are fine saying that. MAGA has this thing where you can't ever acknowledge that anyone could ever be doing it because of an identity thing. And so that they think it's really cringe and feminist to go, that was a misogynistic attack. They think that's too feminist and weird and liberal. So now she's struggling, and it was so funny to watch her go, he did that because I'm a woman. And I don't say things are because I'm a woman, but it was because I'm a woman. It's like, wait. Isabella Moody's going to be mad at you for saying that. You're not allowed to acknowledge that it ever could because you're a woman.
Attacked in life only because I'm a woman. But what Bill Maher did was very misogynistic. He knows that I'm not having sex with President Trump, yet he broadcasted this all over his show, all over HBO, which is why I've since sued them. I had my deposition with them. Now they just recently filed a motion to seal the deposition. Why would you not want my own deposition to be public, right? He wants to hide his own deposition, and now he's trying to hide my deposition when I have nothing to hide. I was happy to release my video deposition to the public.
Yeah, release it. I'd love to see it. So let's go back. It's so weird because her suing him is silly. I think he's on a comedy show. I thought we had legalized comedy.
Legalized comedy.
But he was making jokes. I think this is the clip that she's referencing. While I was saying, let's stay away from those attacks because that's what they do to Kamala. You remember? They're like, oh, she slapped her, all those gross things. So I was like, let's just stay away from it. But jokes about it are fun. Back then, I wasn't doing as much silly stuff. If we were doing the show now, I would probably have made the same jokes. Now that I'm thinking of it, given how many times today I've said the word anals, I probably would have made, let's be honest, I would have made jokes about it. And And that's comedy, baby. So why is she trying to make comedy illegal? You don't have that? Tried to make comedy illegal.
Legalize comedy.
Oh, you only have that one. Take that down. We need to see this. I need it injected. Jaden loves this. He has a weird obsession with it. Tried make comedy illegal. Let's just get this situated.
So,
watch the way his body moves when he says this.
I mean, we're trying to get good things done, but also have a good time doing it, and and have like a sense of humor, So, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, Like you can't make.
He illegal.
Make comedy illegal, Like you can't.
Yeah. So apparently that's what Laura Loomer's trying to do. Let's see how egregious we find this clip of Bill Maher.
Because Laura Loomer said, Taylor Swift, she believes, is in an arranged relationship with Travis Kelce to influence the 2024 election. I think maybe Laura Loomer's in an arranged relationship to affect the election because she's very close to Trump. She's 31, looks like his type.
Okay, I want to defend Bill here. You gotta stop doing the thing. It drives me absolutely batty. After he closes his mouth, it's like, oh.
Because she's very close to Trump. She's 31, looks like his type. We did an editorial here a few years ago. You're remembering it already. It was basically, who's Trump fucking? Because I said, it's not nobody. He's been a dog for too long, and it's not Melania. I think we may have our answer this week. I think it might be Laura Loomer. I'm just saying.
I think it might be. That's just, you're never gonna. She better not win that suit. I think it might be. You're just speculating. You can speculate. And there's a crowd going, ah! So clearly it's for the sake of satire. Yeah, that's silly. That's silly business. Let's see here. This is so many ridiculous things. I can't even choose what to go to next. Let's talk about this lawsuit Gavin Newsom is bringing. Speaking of lawsuits, we'll just do lawsuits back to back to back. Mary B444 said, please create a soundbite of your giggling team. I think that could get weird. And I have control over that one. Hey, they're trying to make comedy illegal. And they click it and they're like, ah, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, oh, stop it. Ah, I'm funny. Click, 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 click. I don't know about that. But I appreciate the suggestion. So Gavin Newsom sues Fox News for $787 million, which is what they settled with Dominion for, in defamation case over Trump call. And it goes back to coverage like this where he was accused of lying over this phone call with Trump, but he was actually right. Now, I think this is a political statement he's making, given all that I've made of Trump trying to leverage government power to get settlements. I think this may not be the best play on Newsom's part. Actually, no, let me say it this way. I get the statement he's trying to make. I'm against him bringing this lawsuit. Boom. Booshk. Because our next story is about Trump threatening lawsuits, and it's like, let's not go crazy with the threatening the media stuff. But Newsom's trying to make a point, I think, about Dominion, and this is the coverage that he's taking issue with.
Democrat governors let violence fester until finally Trump restored order. Trump's not waiting around this time. He says if it wasn't for him, L.A. would be up in smoke.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is.
Newsom responded. And he said there wasn't a phone call. He said Trump never called him, not even a voicemail, he said. But John Roberts got Trump's call logs, and it shows Trump called him late Friday night, and they talked for 16 minutes. Why would Newsom lie and claim Trump never called him? Why would he do that?
So, of course, Jesse Waters excluded Trump saying yesterday, which is what Newsom said, very important timeline because of the events that were transpiring. They did talk before the most hot moments, what was days before, but Trump thought it was yesterday, and it's sort of, well. So, yeah, the California governor accused Fox News of defamation in a lawsuit Friday morning, alleging the network should fork over $787 million. So I think I think he's handled a lot of this really well. I don't really like that. Because of this, Trump threatens to sue the New York Times and CNN over unpatriotic reporting. Now, defamation suits are a thing, and sometimes they're totally justified, right? So if there was claiming Newsom lied when you're kind of getting all wrong, the dates and all of that, I don't know. I don't think you can prove damages over that. And it's just not that egregious. But, so this is not me saying you can never sue a media outlet. Obviously you can if they did defamation. But it gets a little tricky when you're a public official. But for Newsom to be anything comparable to Trump, number one, he would have to be bringing bogus lawsuits that aren't based on fact, which is what Trump does. And number two, he would then have to leverage his state power. Like if he said, I'm suing them and I'm also going to work to get Fox News off of I'm going to ban Fox News in the state of California until they settle with me. Now they would be comparable to Trump. Or now Newsom would be. So I'm not conflating the situations, but just given how much I'm bringing up Trump's attacks against the media, even though it's not comparable, I still don't love the vibe because I think it'll help MAGA go, what? Trump's suing, Newsom's suing, everyone's suing each other. It's different, you know? Trump threatens to sue the New York Times and CNN over unpatriotic reporting on U.S. military intel. Can you imagine? Unpatriotic. What is it? So you're not allowed to report on the facts of a strike because if it's not just reporting it was perfect, it's unpatriotic. It's sick. It's sick! Trump demanding the paper retract and apologize or they'll be sued over accurate reporting over intelligence. So the threats continue. Please, CNN. Please, New York Times. I beg you, do not bend the knee. ABC bended the knee. It looks like CBS is bending the knee. Don't bend the knee. Just stand up for yourself so that you can go down in the annals of history. Please. One of the people speaking out against Trump has been Thomas Massie, the Republican congressman. Not because he has issue with Trump's authoritarianism or anything, but he just didn't like the Iran strikes and he doesn't like the big, beautiful bill. And so Trump promised to destroy him politically. And this is the first ad that they dropped.
What happened to Thomas Massie? President Trump is banning sex changes on minors. Massie voted against it. President Trump is cutting taxes and saving Kentucky families $10,000. Massie voted against it. President Trump is securing our border and deporting criminal aliens. Massie voted against Trump again. And after Trump obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program, Massie sided with Democrats and the Ayatollah. Let's fire Thomas Massie. MAGA Kentucky is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So they're going after Massie. One thing that cracked me up is, let's see, voted again. Oh yeah, here. They cite Reuters saying that Iran's key nuclear sites were obliterated. But look at the way this is quoted. Pull that up. This is so funny. Do you see how it's like whatever you call that, sub-quoted within the quote? So they're quoting Reuters, but do you know who Reuters is quoting in that? Them. So the Trump administration is saying, see, we obliterated the nuclear sites because Reuters reported it. But Reuters is quoting them. It's so good.
Give me a joke.
Please, give me one. Liam said, Luke, have you seen Berserk 1997 good anime? I haven't watched any anime. So no. And then Liam sent other super chats. I appreciate them, but I'm not going to read them. Sorry. I know some of what I've been saying might give you the impression that I would, but I won't. It's a little bit too juvenile for me. We don't do juvenile here. One moment we didn't get to talk about of Kari Lake was this congressman going, what do they speak in Armenia? And she goes, it's a beautiful language, but I can't remember exactly the name. It's something funky, like, but what is it? Remind me? And he goes, Armenian. It's just so, like, I don't like Kari Lake, but that's a dumb setup. What language does Armenia speak in Armenian?
I'd like to specify a particular area that deals with Armenia and the voice of Armenia. Do you happen to know, Ms. Lake? I come from the land of William Saroy, and I assume you know what language the Armenian people of Armenia speak.
I've actually heard it. It's a beautiful language. I can't name it. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, it's Armenia. The
trick question.
The story of Armenian language is.
That's just so ridiculous and so brutal. I love it's such a beautiful language. Like, some languages are ugly, but it was beautiful. It's one of my favorite, actually, now that I think of it, it's one of my favorite languages. Just the way that they do vowels and consonants is striking. Really, it's striking. But I can't remember what the word was for the language. What do the Armenian people speak? Armenian people speak. It's a beautiful language. It's quaint. It's beautiful. It's dark, in a way. It's so vicious and so lovely. Like Gettysburg. Wow. Armenian. What do they speak in Armenia? But no one asked that unless they wanted that slam dunk. So, like, I don't like those trivia things. Clearly, can you imagine me in a hearing? Luke, fill in this blank. Blank of history. How do you pronounce the word annals? Tell me. Annals? Because sometimes, and this is about Kari Lake, sometimes you don't know things, but it is just because you happen to not know them and no other reason. In Kari's case, it's not the sign of a lack of intelligence or understanding of the subject matter in Kari's case, but just she happened to not know that particular answer. And that's fine. That never really happens to me, but I get how that could happen. And I think it's fine. And I prefer substantive questions more than trivia questions. It kind of reminded me of in one of my appearances on a right-wing show. It was like, oh yeah, you think January 6th prisoners shouldn't be pardoned? Well, what shoe did one of them have on when he went to Starbucks the day before? Oh, you don't know that? Then how could you speak on this? Liam said, you should look at Sky News Australia. They love Trump for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, I've looked at Sky. I know Sky News. I know Sky News well. Thank you all so much for watching. What a day. Have a great week. Well, first watch the segments we do throughout the rest of the day. Then have a great weekend. Talk to you then.